What's up guys, welcome back to another video. So I'm going to give my Game Week 20 Premier League predictions. We are officially over the halfway point and now the reverse league games are starting, and we start off in North London, Tottenham against Newcastle. Wow, these two teams are on complete opposite runs of form. Newcastle won 4 Premier League games in a row without conceding a single goal and they scored 13 in that time, whereas Tottenham have only won 1 out of the last 7, and for some reason Ange Postecoglou seems to be under no pressure whatsoever. Like, genuinely, right now, there aren't many managers in the league worse than him. I'll be real. Newcastle won the fixture at St James's Park, and although they did lose 4-1 here last season, I think they're going to destroy Tottenham. I've gone 5-2. Tottenham are going to be without their two main centre-backs again. Archie Gray, as much as I love him, is not a defender, and the poor kids have to play every position other than his own so far this season. And against Alexander Isak, him and Dragusin are both going to get destroyed, man. Dragusin, can you imagine Dragusin trying to get around Isak with the ball, bro? He's going to shit himself so many times. Anthony Gordon against Pedro Porro's a complete mismatch, or even Barnes if he starts there. Like, Porro is going to have an awful day. I think they will score a couple just because Newcastle will switch off. Tottenham have scored a lot this season, but Postecoglou's team selection has been really questionable. Not starting Maddison despite him being the best player. It's just weird. Tonali, Bruno, Joelinton have been formidable together. Both sides do have Carabao Cup fixtures coming up in midweek though, which could play a bit of a part in their mentality and their team selection here, but I still expect Newcastle to win this very comfortably. Aston Villa against Leicester. Aston Villa have only won 1 out of the last 4 Premier League games. They're going to be without Durrani, who's still suspended, and Morgan Rogers, who got suspended from the last game after too many yellow cards. Ollie Watkins is nowhere near as good as Duran, don't care what anyone says. Leicester on a really bad run of form as well though. They're winless in their last 5 games, they've lost their last 4 in a row, they've only scored 1 goal in that time. However, Villa defensively aren't exactly great, and Leicester were very good against Manchester City, and Vardy just had a really bad day, which is very odd because he's usually fantastic. I do expect this to be kind of close, like it was at the King Power, but like the result at the King Power, I've gone with a 2-1 win for Aston Villa. I think they should be able to get the job done. Leicester City, it's a tough game to go away to Villa. It would be 5 losses in a row though, which is just completely unacceptable. But I think they will make some moves for players. They need a right back, they need a centre back desperately. Bournemouth against Everton. Everton did lose their last game, but they were on a good run of form before that. They've gone away to Manchester City and Arsenal and not lost, which is brilliant. Bournemouth have drawn their last 2 games and only won 1 out of their last 4 home games as well. And they will be without Justin Kluivert, so this isn't going to be a very good game in terms of scoreline. It's going to be a very close one. It's either going to be 0-0 or 1-0. I have gone with a 1-0 Bournemouth win. I don't know why. I just feel like they'll be able to break through. Maybe Pickford makes a stupid mistake or something. London derby up next. Crystal Palace against Chelsea. Chelsea are on a bad run of form. They haven't won any of the last 3. They've lost their last 2 in a row, including Fulham winning their first ever game at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League, and Ipswich getting their first home win of the season. So Chelsea have been very charitable lately. Crystal Palace have only won 1 out of their last 5 home games in the Premier League, but that was their most recent one against Southampton. They will be without Trevor Chalobah, so he is ineligible to play, and I think that will have a pretty big impact because Chris Richards isn't fantastic, and also Chelsea can afford to rotate a lot of their players in. I think they will just edge it 2-1, but I can see a 1-1 because Chelsea, I feel like, are starting to fall away a little bit now. I feel like a lot of Leicester fans won't be too surprised seeing this because Enzo Maresca did the same thing last year. Leicester were cruising like 17 points clear at one point. And then his negligence and his inability to adapt just allowed everyone else around them to catch up, and they almost bottled the league by the end. QPR smashed Leeds. You're welcome, Leicester, by the way. Hopefully a good game next week with you in the FA Cup. And Chelsea are clearly missing Fofana as well. They're missing that speed in the back line, and Ismail Assar could take advantage of that. But I don't know, I just feel like Chelsea should win this, and if they don't, then they might be a bit worried, and they'll probably spend another £500 million to win it. Manchester City against West Ham. Manchester City finally won their last game against Leicester. It's been so long, but in that game they were completely dominated, and they were very lucky to win. They would have been very lucky to get a draw, but sometimes that's just what good teams do. Well, they haven't been a very good team lately. West Ham have the worst manager in the league in Julian Lopetegui, and they got smashed by Liverpool last time. They'll be without Jared Bowen, which is just huge because even throughout the season they've been awful every game, but he is usually the guy that gets some points. And without him, it's going to be very tricky for them to do that. I think Man City win this 3-1. They really can't afford not to win here, man. West Ham are absolutely awful. They're without their best player and captain. Southampton against Brentford now. Southampton have only won one home game so far in the Premier League this season. They have looked significantly better under Juric. You know, he's gotten playing some actual good football, and he's gotten much more defensively solid as well. I don't know why they stuck with Russell Martin for so long. The worst manager the league has ever seen. The only one that you could maybe say is worse than him is their former manager, Nathan Jones. But they're not going to get a better opportunity to win a game this season because Brentford have not won a single away game so far. You know, they've been awful. Even at home now, they're starting to lose their edge. I think Brentford are going to tumble down the table in the second half because they've played all the easier teams at home. I don't think they're going to go away and beat most of them. And I think now that the good teams are starting, I say good, the on paper better teams are starting to visit the G-Tech, they're already starting to lose games. And I think that will just be they'll maybe get a couple of draws on the road, but they'll lose most of them. And they will be in the relegation zone come May. Maybe this is a bit of a biased prediction, but I think Southampton win this 2-1. They will concede because Mbeumo, this are obviously in great form, especially Mbeumo scored a really nice goal against Arsenal. But Southampton have to win this. I think Divlin's going to have a great performance. You know, Brentford are having to play a centre-back and a winger as their full-backs, which just isn't great. They're very open. And if Southampton play the way they did against West Ham, they can absolutely get a win here. Brighton and Hove Albion against Arsenal. Brighton are winless in their last 7 games, which is atrocious. Arsenal are starting to get a little bit of form together now again. Even with their injuries, you know, Saka's obviously been out, Rice has been out with a knock or a cold or something, he was on the bench last time. They will be without Timber in this game due to his suspension, but I still think Arsenal should be able to win this. I've gone 2-0 to the Gunners. I think they should be able to keep a clean sheet because Brighton do not look very good up front, and Ciso and João Pedro just aren't it, if I'm honest. Like, João Pedro is so overrated, I can't lie. But Evan Ferguson, Danny Welbeck are still out. Defensively, Lewis Dunk is going to make a mistake because he is atrocious. And obviously, if Ethan Nwaneri plays like he did against Brentford, and Thomas Partey plays like he did against Brentford, and so does Jesus, I would expect Arsenal to win this fairly comfortably. Obviously, they will be looking for revenge for what happened at the Emirates Stadium season when Declan Rice got sent off for getting booted by Joel Veltman. Hopefully Rice gets some revenge and just beats the shit out of Veltman in this game and scores a screamer. That would be beautiful. Fulham against Ipswich Town. Obviously both sides are probably quite happy with how their results over the Christmas period went. Obviously both beat Chelsea. Ipswich did narrowly lose to Arsenal. Fulham did get a draw against Bournemouth, where they were minutes away from winning that one. They did draw 1-1 at Portman Road early in the season. I think they draw 1-1 here again. I think Delap and Iwobi will get on the score sheet. You know, I think it'll be a close game. Both sides do like to play good football. Liverpool against Manchester United. Man United have lost their last 3 games in a row without scoring a goal. Lost 5 out of their last 6. They are looking atrocious. Liverpool only won defeat all season, just won 5-0. I've gone 3-0 Liverpool. You know, to be fair, I know that both sides are in a similar position to where they were when they met last season. Liverpool were doing really well, Man United were doing really badly. But I think Liverpool are doing even better now, Man United are doing even worse now. Cameron probably won't want to play too defensive, even though he should, because Man United have no goal threat whatsoever. Liverpool aren't even going to be threatened. Diallo is great, but he's not really a goal threat. He's definitely more creative. Man United will be boosted with the return of Ugarte, who I think will be a very welcome addition back to the team because Casemiro is just atrocious. Fernandes isn't great. I mean, especially in big games, he's going to do nothing. He'll probably get himself sent off again. But Liverpool have the best football player in the world right now playing for them. Mohamed Salah is inevitable. He will get probably 2 goal contributions again in this game. And some people are saying it could be like 7 or 8 again. I don't think it'll be that much because I think Man United just will defend a bit more. Liverpool obviously will have the Carabao Cup on the back of their minds. I know it's not a priority competition for them this season, but they would probably still like to win that. And like Newcastle did, they'll get a few goals early and then just chill for the rest of the game, you know, don't overexert yourself. And it'll be a professional win, very comfortable. And finally, Wolverhampton Wanderers against Nottingham Forest. Now, they drew 1-1 at the City Ground earlier this season, but Matheus Cunha has finally been suspended. It's a joke of a suspension, by the way. 2 games he's already got, and he's going to be injured. Like, he wouldn't have even played. And one of them's in the FA Cup. So he's pretty much got nothing, which is mental, bruv. Like, Mitrovic got like, what was it, a 7-game ban for touching a referee? Duran got a 3-game ban for stepping on someone, whether it was on purpose or not, I don't know, but it was nowhere near as bad as what Cunha did. And somehow Cunha's being punished the least harsh. Makes no sense. But they are unbeaten under Vitor Pereira's leadership. I do think that ends here. I think Nottingham Forest are going to win 2-0. Wolves' goal threat will be significantly reduced without Mateus Cunha, and Nottingham Forest are arguably the best defensive team in the league. They're very efficient on the counter, and Wolves, despite having kept 2 clean sheets before the 2-2 draw with Tottenham, they're very susceptible to counter-attacks and crosses, which is where Nottingham Forest shine. So I think it is a game tailor-made for a Forest win, and they'll get 6 in a row. Those are my predictions this week. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you soon for another video.